Okay, we play Clemson Saturday night, 7:06, I believe. Playing them for the state championship, just like last year. It's always a huge game to play in-state rivals, and they give a trophy for this game. It's always one of our goals every year is to beat those guys, and I'm sure that's one of their goals too. So it should be a heck of a game. They've had a season where it could have been a little better, lost some close games, and they're not quite where they would hope to be. But anyway, we all are where we are, and it should be a heck of a game up there Saturday night. Looking forward to going up and seeing if we can continue playing well, which we have the last 2 weeks, and try not to revert back to some of our games this year. But our guys have had a good attitude, and we expect to have some really good solid practices this week and go up there and give them our best shot. So we'll see what happens up there at Clemson, Death Valley. So looking forward to it. Okay, any questions?
Coach, it seems like from talking to the kids last night and then just before you got in here that they seem kind of self-motivated for this game. Did you guys have to do any talking to them, or is that just something that came with, that they weren't looking over this game?
Well, this game is on the schedule at the beginning of the season every year. We're fortunate we got a bonus game at the end of the season, but it doesn't diminish anything about the game this week. Every coach and every team should always, in my opinion, play the game that week. Now, I realize in the NFL, they don't do that. Sometimes when they clinch a playoff spot, they play all their backup guys, and I guess it doesn't mean much at that time. But college, we're different. We're different than that. We play every game. We are whatever our record is at the end of the year, and we are whatever we do, usually against our in-state rival. One school, one group of fans, and one team is going to have a lot of bragging rights for an entire year. So there's a lot on the line every year, and the same thing's true this year.
Coach, in addition to winning the state championship, the win Saturday would also give you guys 9 wins. It hasn't happened in about 9 seasons. That'd be just huge for the university, I'm sure.
Yeah, certainly that was another goal of our team to win 9 games this year. So whether or not we can do it, we're going to keep trying and try to do it Saturday night.
Amen.
Coach, that was when he said today that he called you and congratulated you after you won the SEC East, and he said you also called him at some point during the season. Can you speak to your relationship with him, and how common is it to talk to a rival coach during the season?
Yeah, he did text message me, and I called him back, said I appreciate it. Mark Rick also called me, or sent a letter congratulating us on winning the East. So anyway, but to tell you the truth, I usually don't send a message to whoever wins the East, and usually most coaches don't do that. So anyway, I didn't send him one last year. Maybe I should have. I started to tell him congratulations on beating Wake Forest, but I didn't think he wanted to hear that. So, as far as congratulating somebody on something, but I don't think he would have. That wouldn't have been the right thing to do. But anyway, I like Dabo. He's a good person. He's a good coach, and he really runs a good program there. I mentioned last night on a radio call-in show, I think we have a good, healthy rivalry with Clemson now. I know it was ugly about 6 years ago. That game in Death Valley got real ugly and was really a terrible scene for our state of South Carolina. So I don't sense in any way that could happen with the coaching staffs that are in place now and the players that are in place. I think it'll be a good hard-fought game. I don't think there'll be a lot of trash talk. I don't think there'll be late hits. Good, clean, hard-fought game, and that's the way it should be. So there's no bad mouthing in recruiting that I know of between Clemson and South Carolina now. And I realize some of the fans don't want to hear that, but that's the way I think it should be, and I think Dabo and his guys believe that's the way it should be also.
Steve, would you entertain thoughts to moving this game to the beginning of the season? I think you when you were at Florida, you said you thought that game should have been, Florida State maybe should have been played at the beginning.
Yeah, I would certainly be fine with me. Having it at the end of the year is a little different because we're not in the same conference. If we were in the same conference, then it would certainly be a really big game like Oklahoma State play this week for all the marbles out there. Auburn, Alabama, same division, same conference. Florida and Florida State are not, and Georgia Tech are not. So they probably talk about moving the game also, but neither one of them have either. So either way is fine with me. But it would sort of make sense if we did move it to the first game of the year. That would give somebody, both group of fans, something to talk about all summer. So that'd be fine with me if that were to occur.
Steve, you talked for your time here about culture change and trying to change the mentality of South Carolina. Do you think with the SEC title and this successful season that you're starting to turn the corner?
Well, we've turned it a little bit. That's all. We've turned it a little bit in winning the East, but the next 2 weeks will really determine what we've done this year. It really will. Next 2 weeks, and our players know that. I think our fans know it. So we're going to keep pushing this week and next week, and then we'll have some time off before whatever bowl game we go to. So that's what we're trying to do right now is play the very best we can these next 2 weeks, and then we'll see where we are.
Can you talk about the Daquan Bowers and the problems he presents to an offense, and how do you game plan against a guy as disruptive as he is?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's one of the best defensive linemen I guess we'll play against all year, and I think he's projected first round NFL guy, maybe in the first 4 or 5 picks. I'm not sure, but again, sometimes our guys. We had trouble blocking those Troy guys, so I'm sure we're going to have trouble blocking him. But maybe we'll let a back chip off a little bit like a lot of people do, or have a tight end over there or something. But again, we don't throw the ball that much to have to devise a whole bunch of protection schemes. We generally run it and try to throw it real quickly when we're throwing. So hopefully our guys can handle him a bit, though. But he's a very good player. But those other linemen are very good too. That's one reason their defense has been what it is. Their D-line, I think, is about as good as any around their defensive linemen.
Coach, has it been difficult with the younger guys, especially? I know sometimes to impress upon them how important this in-state rivalry is, especially this year, given that this isn't the end. They have one more game to go.
Well, we haven't played the game yet. We approach every game very similarly, and our guys know the importance of this game and the importance of the next game. They're all very important, but I think our guys know what we're trying to do. So when you say young guys, you're talking about Marcus Lattimore. I think he knows what's happening next 2 weeks. Other than that, I don't know how many true freshmen are playing a whole bunch. A few. Ace Sanders, he's playing a bit now. But they know it's important, but every game's important. So we get ready to play our best every week anyway. So this is another week to try to play the best we can, try to improve on what we did last week.
Coach, obviously, historically, Clemson has dominated this series with your program. Would a consecutive win this year maybe turn the corner a little bit in the rivalry for you guys?
Well, it'd be nice to just win the game, and that would that'd be nice too, I guess. But we don't generally talk about that much. They have won a whole lot more than we have. There's no question, and we're just trying to go play our best to win the game this week, and everything else we can't have any control over. So we'll just try to play our best to beat them this week.
Talk about the way your defense has had so many guys that are able to get sacks, put pressure on the quarterback. Whereas Clemson has Daquan, who has 15.5 sacks individually. You guys have a bunch of guys that have 6, 7, 8, third in the nation at sacking the quarterback. Just what that does for your defense.
Well, it just means we got, I don't know, Coach Brant Loy rotates our players a lot. But Devin Taylor and Melvin and Travian, all those guys, Lottie, Clint Matthews, all 5 of them, I think, have quite a few. But anyway, that's, I don't know, it's just the way it is. Sometimes one guy gets most of them, sometimes, like Alshon, he gets most of the passes, and Marcus gets most of the runs. So that's just the way it's been with our defensive line. They've all contributed.
Coach, can you talk about these up here? Can you talk about these games in Death Valley? I mean, it's a pretty crazy environment, no matter what time you play, but at night especially, it becomes just kind of a madhouse.
Well, we're going to try to use the same schedule that we went down to Florida. We played at 7 o'clock, 7:06, I think, about the same time we played down there. So we'll just try to stay on the same schedule, and hopefully we can play well. If we play well and the other team doesn't play very well, then it's not too loud. But if the other team plays well and you don't, it gets real loud. But again, the noise hasn't bothered us much this year. Our guys in the shotgun or whatever have been very good. Our offensive line has been a lot better, holding the count, very few false starts this year. So we expect to stay on side. Blocking and tackling, probably the main thing we're concerned about. And usually the noise shouldn't affect the blocking and the tackling. That's guys in position, making plays and doing what they're asked to do with a lot of effort.